Good afternoon, YouTube. Joel here from the CryptoByte team, and I've got some news for you from the Bill Gates himself. He's made an AMA on Reddit, and for those who don't know what an AMA is, it stands for Ask Me Anything. And basically, Bill Gates has said, "Ask me anything," and Reddit users can just hop on and comment a question, and he'll answer it himself. And so someone's actually asked him, which I'll jump onto it right now. What are your opinions on cryptocurrencies? And his response is just below. But first things first, let's do a quick look at the Bitcoin price analysis, and its current price is 10k, which is pretty solid, and as of recent we've seen a 2.36% increase. And looking at the last 7 days, we can kind of see that the price has been dipping down all the way to that 9k mark again, and then there's been a sudden shoot up in the price where it's at 10k, and it's had a pretty steady increase in the price. And so here's hoping that the price consistently goes up instead of just bouncing around the 9 to 10k mark. So let's go straight to the AMA, and let's look at Bill Gates' opinion on cryptocurrencies in general. So this isn't just Bitcoin, this is all the cryptocurrencies out there. And he's talking about the main feature of cryptocurrencies is their anonymity. And I don't think it's a good thing. The government's ability to find money laundering and tax evasion and terrorist funding is a good thing. Right now, cryptocurrencies are used for buying fentanyl and other drugs, so it's a rare technology that has caused death in a fairly direct way. And I think the speculative wave around ICOs and cryptocurrencies is super risky for those who go long. So long story short, he's saying that he doesn't like cryptocurrencies because he fairly believes that cryptocurrencies are supposed to be anonymous. The whole point of having a currency online that exists on the internet is so that they can be anonymous, and that it's basically fiat currency that can't be tracked. And so that is kind of true to a degree, but not really, because he's ignoring the fact that blockchain technology is almost revolutionary and can decentralize so much centralized services, such as like server hosting and all the rest. But yeah, so he's thinking about basically cryptocurrencies that can't be tracked, like Monero, that potentially support illicit costs or just illicit kind of things in this world. So like drugs, money laundering, tax evasion, all that jazz. And so he's saying that because cryptocurrencies allow that and make it easier for people to do that kind of stuff, he doesn't like it. And so he's saying that, and there's also he's also talking about how it's caused deaths in fairly direct ways. And the only reason that I can think about is that I believe the South Korean politician who was trying to regulate cryptocurrencies, the leading politician for that, he had been murdered, and so that is one issue. And that isn't actually fairly ethical in any way, but that is just the people trying to say we want these cryptocurrencies to live out because we don't want the government oppressing us or taking full control of us. And that's fair. The government's supposed to help the people and go along with people's decisions, not oppressing them in any way. And so the communities there are right to obviously support cryptocurrencies, but not right to kill someone. But that is my opinion anyway. And so he also says, I think the speculative wave around ICOs and cryptocurrencies is super risky for those who go long. And so he doesn't believe in the cryptocurrency technology, because when he says cryptocurrencies, he doesn't believe in Ethereum, a Bitcoin, or Litecoin, or any of the sort lasting out to be an actual payment platform. So he doesn't believe him. He thinks it's just gonna, go up, pop, and then die, as the bubble, as everyone thinks about the Bitcoin bubble. And he also thinks about the speculative wave around the ICOs. Now he's fairly right with ICOs, because ICOs, a lot of them are scams, and a lot of them also fail. So you could invest like a lot of your money, or just a portion of your money. Hopefully you're only investing on what you're willing to lose into these ICOs, and they usually fail. A lot of them do fail, and I saw a statistic recently that apparently last year's 50% of the ICOs have already failed. So if you've invested into a failed ICO or a failing ICO, you're guaranteed to lose some money there, or you most likely will lose money, I should say. And some ICOs also, they're scams. They'll come out with like a lending platform, and they'll be like, yeah, just give us your money, and like, we've got this coin, so if you get in early, you're gonna get some solid value when we start actually mooning. But they just disappear when it's time to actually like start the cryptocurrency work. So that's quite unfortunate, because there are a lot of scams and there's a lot of failing ICOs. So you do have to be careful around the ICOs, but cryptocurrencies such as like Ethereum, Litecoin, IOTA, all those kind of coins. There's a lot more. I was just playing off the ones from the top of my head. Those coins are actually working hard to have real world use cases and become relevant in society. So that's pretty solid. So let's just read down and look at other people's opinions. And so let's ignore this Kylie Jenner tweet here. But Bill is spreading FUD so he can low-key accumulate. Yeah, so I mean that is one thing. That's obviously a joke. But so and all cryptocurrencies go red. So everyone's thinking that Bill Gates' opinion on cryptocurrencies will make the value drop. And I guess a lot of people can agree. He is a smart dude, and because he doesn't believe in cryptocurrencies, as a really smart, successful man, then we can kind of see that there is potential for cryptocurrencies to not be actually, just looking at it from his perspective. I personally believe that blockchain technology is revolutionary and has a place in our society in the future, but Bill Gates obviously doesn't. So, I mean, that is quite unfortunate, but that's okay. And so, reading down, they're just talking about. Okay, well, here we go. We've got a good comment here. With all due respect, this isn't true. Actually, it's fairly difficult to maintain anonymity with most cryptos, and he is right. A lot of it can be tracked. One would have to make their initial transaction in person to avoid signing up with an exchange and the requisite very unanonymous bank transfer. And if at any point the person is tied to your address, your entire transaction history and the flow of every penny you've ever spent is easily immediately known. It's easier than traditional currency to trace to that point because the ledgers are public to the world. There are no institutional barriers. While I would wager that a lot of illegal transactions are made using the likes of Bitcoin because people think it protects their identity, I would also wager that in the coming years, as law enforcement becomes more versed in crypto, a lot of these people will find themselves in prison. Remember, the trail they've left behind is permanent. And this guy is exactly correct. I agree with him. So, in terms of the anonymity, whatever Bill Gates was talking about, and how cryptocurrency is primarily focused around that, um, this guy talks about how you can't really be anonymous unless if you've got like a fairly solid technique, and even then in future governments will have some pretty solid techniques and contingency plans around people who are kind of using these kind of techniques. So that's pretty good, and he's correct, and well, I agree with him. And there are some cryptos that do focus on anonymity, that's right, like Monero and Verge and stuff like that, although I personally don't like Verge too much. And those could be seen as a problem in the light you suggest. However, the idea that anonymity is the main feature of crypto, or arguably a main feature, is an old misconception, hence the need for those special projects. Again, with all due respect. Of course, you got to respect the man Bill Gates himself. And yeah, this is pretty solid. It's a solid quote. And here we go. So this guy's talking about actual blockchain technology and what it actually means. And he's talking about how the main feature of cryptocurrencies is decentralization and being able to put trust in open source software, mathematics, and cryptography instead of using institutions that have a long history of corruption and greed, often at the expense of their own customers. I would think as sometimes someone who pioneered software and development, you would understand how big of a breakthrough this is. I agree with them. I actually thought Bill Gates would be okay with this, but I guess he could be maybe scared in the fact that blockchain technology could make his company or a lot of the technology that he has redundant. But even then, if he scales a lot of his technology with and onto blockchain platforms, then I believe he could join the blockchain revolution. But who knows too much? And he's talking about the government's ability to find money laundering and tax evasion and terrorist funding is a good thing. And oh, this is some economics here. So this is true in a perfect world, but give this a read when you have some time. So it's Forbes, and it's just talking about drug cartels. HSBC failed to monitor 60 trillion worth of wire transfers, helping terrorists and drug cartels to loan money. Okay, so long story short, illicit costs and illicit things are always going to happen across the world, and yeah, and cryptocurrencies, even with cryptocurrencies existing, it's going to happen either way. So I'm sure that's what he's talking about. And so, coming to this post here by CoinDesk, they actually have some opinions from other people here. And so, Pomp is saying, from the tweets, he's saying it's not anonymous, and the concerns aren't exclusive to digital assets. Every currency funds terrorism and is laundered and leads to deaths. Replace cryptocurrency with USD, and then most of this fear mongering occurs, and the statements are still true. He's right. He's right about that. And so, Bill Gates just say cryptocurrencies are cause many. Okay, so he's just going on about it, and yeah, but he, this is quite funny. He's starting to think that the criteria for being old and rich is hating crypto. They'll all learn eventually, and there's always this thing inside of us that are always resistant to change, and that is quite normal with most people, and so especially with old elderly people, and it kind of does make sense. Bill Gates has already created technology that didn't exist on blockchain, and he believes there's no place for it, and so that's fair. We can't hate on that, and so we have a lot more people disagreeing with it, and that's all fair. But yeah, so I think that just wraps up my video for today because we have like a wide versatility, sorry, wide amount of opinions, I should say, about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. But when it comes down to it, Bitcoin doesn't really like it and sees no future for cryptocurrencies in general. Although I personally believe he doesn't actually understand what blockchain is and the potential for it in society in future. And yeah, so that's all I've got for today. So if you guys have any opinions and you like what you've heard and read, hit the like button and tell me your opinions in the comments below. So cheers.